Alrighty, we're speaking with Don Barnes of 38 Special. Don, thanks for taking time out of a busy day to hang out with us here in Tucson via Zoom.
Always a pleasure, Larry. How's everything doing in Tucson?
Things are doing good. A little bit hot today, but I guess we're used to it here. So
112?
112 today is what they're saying. I just walked outside and I think I melted. So
We've been out there before, and it'd be, as a singer, you have to gargle a little hot tea between songs. So it'd be like 110, 112. I'm gargling tea. That's all I need, right?
well, you just get a bottle of water and it'll turn 100. It'll be hot for you
Yeah,
anyway. So,
that's
hey.
right. That's right.
So you got a new song out called All I Haven't Said. It's going to be on a new album called
Yeah.
Milestone, and that's out September 19th.
September 19th. Yeah, I couldn't think of any other thing to call it. It was the 50th anniversary, so I thought it was a great milestone, so I'm going to call it Milestone. But yeah, we have a lot of different songs, a lot of banger songs, a lot of different attitudes. It really takes you for a ride, with the 50th anniversary, I wanted to show kind of an updated modern version of 38 Special after all these years. You're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, Larry. If you sound exactly like you did back in the 80s, the people go, well, it's nothing new. It sounds like that. And then if you do something new, they're scratching their head like, this is 38 Special, So you just have to lose all those opinions and do what you like and take your own risk.
So it's been 20 years since you guys have put out an
Yeah.
album of new material. Why so long?
It just got to the point where, the we were doing 100 cities a year. We still do that. I mean, it's year in and year out. Our agent said we have to turn down about 50 offers. You guys are, we're such demand because people, it's a lot of hit songs. We have the good fortune to line up a lot of classic songs of people that, remember from their youth. They want to relive that youth. And we do too, But, it was one of those things. It's like, it was so, we were so busy because making an album, you have to really carve out a lot of time. And as you get older, time is pretty valuable. So we were just rolling down the road. We're hitting all these cities, and you also have to have a life. We get home and have the holidays and all that. So when my agent said, I bought a whole new set. I mean, it's all a different light sticks across the stage, and it's just gorgeous now. And I said, well, that should look good for the 50th anniversary. He said, well, you're going to have new music too. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a pretty daunting task, So I started last April, started writing. We had all the guys in the studio. We had a great time. I told them, we've been playing together some of these new guys have been there 32 years, I said,
and they're still the new guys.
Yeah, the new guys. Yeah. So, I said, just evolve your parts. You're all top pros. Let me tell you, I'm surrounded by legends and kings. These guys they make me look good, so I'm love to have them after all these years. But I told them they're such professionals. Just here's the idea, evolve your own parts and we'll flesh it all out. And so we had a great time. We would get off the road and I'd have a couple of, first of all, recorded the tracks at Will Turpin's studio. It's a Collective Soul, South Atlanta. All those Collective Soul guys are great guys, but Will had a studio. His dad had it for years. I mean, the song "If I'd Been the One," we did some mixing there that long ago. That's how long.
Oh wow!
His dad had it. Dad passed away about 5 years ago and left the studio, and he's upgraded it. All the Pro Tools, got 3 different rooms. Anyway, so we would come off the road out of 100 cities. We'd come in and cut like 3 basic tracks, and then before you know it, we got to get on a plane. We got to do more touring. So it's like you walk into a separate room because you have to think creatively and tracking, and then you get back to do a show. It's like, okay, what were we doing here? So you're kind of jumping back and forth. So over the period of time, we did that, then we jumped back in and do 4 songs, so then the basic tracks were done. Well, it was good, but you got to do a lot of overdubs, and so I was flying to Chicago to see my friend Jim Peterick from Survivor. He's been a long time songwriting partner. But I was in the middle of January in Chicago. Wrong place to be in the middle of January.
Kind of like Tucson in August.
Yeah, right. Well, I remember coming out in the rental car. It had an ice storm the night before, and I was scraping like a half an inch of ice off the windshield to get to the studio. I'm like, the things I go through for this band, But you do what you have to do. But anyway, so I was flying back and forth. We would come in every month from the tour, and I'd have to book time to get up to Chicago. And he has 2 home studios in his house. It's just huge house. We call it the mall. It looks like a mall. It's got railings up across the top and the floors and everything. Anyway, but yeah, so that we had a great time though. A lot of laughs, and that's what it's all about. Have a good time. The thing, Larry, really is that the element of desperation is not there anymore. I mean, every band knows when you start out, you don't want to show that desperation, but you are desperate for people to accept you and like your show, and please buy this and please like us. We didn't have anything to fall back on. Every band knows that when you risk jobs or education or anything, you're rolling the dice, and a lot of people, you can give 110%. There's no guarantees that it wouldn't work out, so it's a lot of desperation. But anyway, we had a good time through all these years, and now that desperation factor is gone. So we're still booked up 100 cities every year. We went in there and had a great time. And I tell you, it reflects in the songs, the realness of it, the groove and everything. And then we were very proud after it was all over. I said, like I said, we're legends and kings, these guys are. So you be proud of what we've done. The first song, All I Haven't Said, was a kind of a mid-tempo introspective song, but it's not really representative of all the other songs on the album. It's a lot of banger guitar songs, all the attitude, in your face kind of attitude, everything. The radio feel people felt like introducing All I Haven't Said was good gateway back to radio. That's what they wanted to do. And it is a beautiful story, great chorus. It's a bit of a throwback to influences from the old days, the 60s, the Byrds, the Searchers, Beatles. We were all big, those jangly guitars and all that. I always loved that stuff. And ironically, my wife, she co-wrote the song with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she always had a musical mind. She had a group years ago. Her name's Christine. Her name of her band was Damn It, Christine.
Great name.
Yeah. But she went into the corporate world and my financial management, just all that stuff. But anyway, I was in the dining room. I was kind of strumming some noodling chords, major 7th chords. And she was in the kitchen and walked around and said, "That sounds like that should be called All I Haven't Said." Just out of the clear blue. I said, "What? Wow. Say that again?" So it was a great title, and she sat down and we hashed out. We wrote the whole chorus there, lines and verses, and they got it about 3/4 of the way done, and took it to Jim Peterick, my songwriting partner, and we tweaked it and kind of fleshed it out and got it all done. But yes, I said, "You got any more compelling titles like that?" She said, "Play some more compelling chords and maybe I'll come up with something." So it was a perfect title. It matched the music and everything. So yeah.
Well, why'd you come up with the title Milestone?
Like I said, it was just just to commemorate the 50th anniversary. And I thought, what's in a name? It's like, it is a milestone. So I thought, couldn't think of anything else to call it. Just 38 Special Milestone. It's 50 years. We've been through everything. We were young boys with a dream, made all our mistakes in public.
I always ask this, but I'm curious. When you think back, 50 years ago, and there's a lot of bands that were around 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30, even bands that are around 5 years ago that are no longer together.
Yeah.
Because the music business can be brutal. Do you ever sit around and, like you just said, you don't have the fear with the new album like you did with the first album or the first live sets even. Do you sit around and just ever pinch yourself and go, "Wow, we're still doing this"?
Back then we, of course, it's all for one for all. We all suffered, and it builds character when you suffer together. And some people think "Hold On Loosely" was off our first album. That was our 4th album. We had the other 3 had basically gone over the cliff. We had to pick ourselves up and get serious about it. And the other thing too is we didn't really represent a lifestyle. Some of these other groups are, Skinner and they're kind of biker or whatever, Hatchet and that kind of thing. But I was always an attentive student of great songwriting and good choruses, good hooks. So I knew that for longevity is to have good radio songs that people remember, and it's part of their life, part of their upbringing, I guess. So those songs mean so much and memories to those people, and I knew that because they mean a lot, the old songs meant a lot to me. I would on my day jobs back then, your alarm clock goes off and the radio alarm goes off, and it's
Yep.
some killer song that just fell out of the sky. It's like, where did this come from? How long did they work on to make this? So I wanted to study how that goes about. And I have to tell you, Jacksonville, Florida was a Navy town. So there were 5 naval bases there. So all of us, all from Dwayne Allman to Greg Allman to Ronnie Van Zant, all the Skinner guys, Molly Hatchet, Tom Petty was right down the road. The Outlaws were right. We all played sailors clubs at about 15 years old. And so all of us, we'd be underage up there playing cover songs and watch the sailors drink and fight out there, But we didn't realize at the time, 15 years old, you make $100 a week, big money, But you start to learn the fundamentals and the foundations of structures of songwriting. And we didn't really realize at a young age. We just practiced these, Santana and Young Rascals and Three Dog Night and all these cover songs back then. And you start learning where the payoff is, where the structures of the pre-chorus and the bridge and the outro. And so then you get a little cocky and you think, well, I can write my own songs now. Well, that's when you go starve for the next 10 years, So it's not something I really recommend, But so that was a good foundation, good fundamentals, learning stage and at the early age like that. A lot of people try to do it later on in life and it's too late, You get kind of tunnel vision.
Well, yeah, and you're also, that age too, you can take the risks,
Yeah.
because yeah, if you don't know what money is like at that point,
Yeah,
then
and you're
you're,
hanging with your friends. I tell these young guys, I said, do it on the weekend. Go have a good time with your buds, drink a few couple of beers, have a good time playing music. Once you try to start paying the bills by it and eating from it, that's when it gets real serious. And we went through a lot of times where we were, oh man, the second album was a total failure. We thought we were going to bust the world wide open, like everybody does.
Yeah.
And we ended up on unemployment line. We actually had earned some unemployment up in Connecticut where we recorded. And so we're standing in unemployment line with hats and sunglasses on, the hair pulled back. Didn't want anybody to recognize because around town, we were pretty well known just in the local area there. But that's the
oh
kind
yeah.
of dues you pay, and you. So like I said, you have to steel yourself and inner fortitude and keep going and keep writing and learn more. I mean, you got to write about 500 songs to publish 50, not to sound so discouraging to these young guys, but you really have to go through A to Z every time. And you have to be painfully honest with each other, high standards, keep your A songs and dismiss the B songs, try to get your best material. So we tried to do that through the years. And then MTV came along. And we were lucky. Timing was never on our side. We were always day late, $1 short, But MTV came along, and we were the 13th video on the very first day of MTV.
Yep.
And they, at the time, it was just some strange cable channel. Nobody had ever heard of this thing, and so they had no content. They would send out their own 3-camera crew to go film live concerts because they had record companies weren't inundating them with any content and videos, and it was unheard of then. And so my manager said, "You mind if these guys, they got this cable channel, and you want cable channel? You mind if they come out and record you guys?" And it was in Denver, Rainbow Music Hall. And I said, "Sure, I don't care if they wanted, And so they came out and they set it up and recorded us. And I remember the guy had held up the placard and wanted me to do a little spot for MTV, and I had to say, "You're watching MTV, you'll never hear music the same way again." And I remember thinking, what a strange little slogan. Really, that's what you want to go with? I wish I'd have bought stock back then, Larry. I'd have been set. Yeah, but anyway, that was how all that started. But yeah, for the first time, timing was on our side. We weren't quite ready for prime time. Everybody had 3 feet of hair. We looked like bridge trolls up there, but we were different than the other groups on there,
But you guys have, now you got songs that still get played on the radio that, stream well and
Yeah.
people love to go see your shows. I mean, you just said it, you're still in demand, actually turning
Yeah.
dates down.
Everybody knows we go out and man, it's we don't slack up, we stack up after all these years. We line all those songs up. It's a ride. We take them for a ride. we have, again, the good fortune to have so many hit songs. We had to put several
Mhm.
medleys together where you do about 2.5 minutes. That's good enough, and then you bang another hit song behind it and another one and another one. So they're blown away. They can't believe it all. Oh, teacher, teacher, I forgot about that one. Oh yeah, the Back to Paradise, Revenge of the Nerds movie. All those, everything is in the show, and some extra stuff, new stuff, surprises. Yeah.
So it's going to be a 50th anniversary tour, and am I right? You're going out with Kansas?
We're doing 30 cities with Kansas to commemorate 50th anniversary, co-headlining. We have an opener, it's Outlaws or Jefferson Starship, a couple other openers. But yeah, we go out. It's been a great time. We've had a good time with those guys. We played with them before, and it's just a night of hit songs. You don't believe how many hits that Kansas has either. They come
Oh
out.
yeah.
They open with that "How long?" They start with
Oh
that,
yeah.
and so it's a ride too. So we have a good time together, a lot of laughs.
Now I was looking at your concert dates. I don't see anything in Arizona yet, at least
We're
not in
headed
southern
that way.
Arizona.
They keep adding more cities. That's what the thing. As you go through a whole year, I get offers coming in, and we accept those, and keep the tour going. All the way to December.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get you down here again, and
Yeah,
on the 50th anniversary tour down in Tucson, and hopefully we even with Kansas or even one of the other great bands
yeah,
you
absolutely.
just
Yeah,
announced as open.
we're looking forward to it, man.
So what else can people expect? So the album's going to be out September 19th. It's called Milestone. The new song, All I Haven't Said, but you said there's some other tunes on there that we should be watching out for as well.
Yeah, well, the second single is going to be out on the 15th of this month, and it's called Slightly Controversial. And that's completely different from the first single. It's a big in
Okay.
your face attitude guitar song. And I did a duet with Pat Monahan from Train. And
Oh,
that's
seriously?
the second single, yeah. So he and Joe Bonamassa had done Hold On Loosely, a version of Hold On Loosely, they just put it on YouTube, but it had like 1 million hits, and somebody directed me to it, and they did a good job. And during the recording of this album, I reached out to his manager. I said, "You think Pat? We're in the middle of doing a 50th anniversary album. You think he'd be interested in singing with me?" And Pat said he'd love to do it. He's from Erie, Pennsylvania. He said he's been a fan all his life, and so it'd be an honor for him. So he crushed it. We had a great time putting that together. But it's in the video. They're working on this video, this visualizer kind of thing. They're using all these. Oh man, they remember the old previews would be like scintillating. You won't believe your eyes. All those words
Yeah.
that came across. Well, the lyrics of this song, because it's called Slightly Controversial, you can use those lyrics against that that black and white Twilight Zone kind of coming in at
Oh,
you and
cool.
all that old stuff. And so it's really comical. They put the band's pictures in peculiar places in this thing, but they're still working on it. It's almost finished, but that'll be interesting video. But yeah, so that's the next one. And then September 19th is the release date of Milestone. Another song I co-wrote with Randy Bachman from Bachman Turner Overdrive. Guess
Oh,
who?
wow.
I've always
Okay.
been a fan. Found myself in Nashville one day, and my publisher said, Randy Bachman's in town. Would you like to write with him for a day? And I had a great time with him. We sat down. A song called "Long Long Train." It's one of the probably the only social commentary song we've ever done, but it's not really like on the nose. It's more like vague, and
Oh,
we wanted
okay.
to keep it vague because as soon as you start naming names and on the nose, then you got a protest song, and we didn't want that. So, but the chords are like haunting chords. It's great. It even sounds great just playing on the piano. Just chords that just work
Oh,
together.
good.
So the whole album is, like I said, it takes you for a ride. Every song is diverse, different from each other, and so it's a good ride. And they put a package together. It's gatefold with big pictures and all that. Released to vinyl also.
Oh, wow.
I mean, how long has it been since you looked at a gatefold vinyl
Oh, I
cover?
miss those days.
They're huge. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Right. And but the CD, of course, CDs are coming out there. Everything's being autographed and everything. We're going to be at sale at the shows as well. All the outlets: Amazon, iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube. Everything. So 200,000 hits on All I Haven't Said in 2.5 weeks on
That's really
YouTube.
good. Yeah,
They're
that's
still
fantastic.
out there. Fans are still out there. They're loving that song. So we're really happy about it.
So if people want to follow 38 Special, you got the websites and social media. How can they
Yeah,
find
it's
you?
all 38special.com, Facebook/38special. It's easy to find. Yeah. But we've got people, the content where they carry cameras strapped to their chest and GoPros and all that. And they put all this live footage in the crowd. It's really interesting. It's interesting to me because I see a different angle. They're looking at
Yeah.
filming a lot of stuff backstage I never see, those things, so it's a fun time.
All right, we've been speaking with Don Barnes from 38 Special, the new song you've been hearing right here on 96.1 KLPX. All I haven't said, the new album, Milestone, going to be out on September 19th, and it sounds like vinyl, CD,
Everything.
everywhere you can think of, you can find it. And of
Posters,
course, check out
hats,
YouTube
yeah,
videos.
posters, hats, T-shirts, keychains, everything.
Got it all, and 38special.com is the place to go. And Don, thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out with us here in Tucson. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Larry. Thanks for having me on. Come see us sometime.
Absolutely will.
See you, buddy.